When Commander Rhys Hunter's ship crash-landed on a forgotten world, he expected hostile wildlife or death by starvation. What he found instead was a society of powerful alien women, fierce, intelligent, and utterly stunned by his presence. Because in their entire civilization, there were no males. And now, everything was about to change. Commander Rhys Hunter had only two thoughts as his escape pod screamed through the atmosphere of the uncharted planet. Survive the crash, then send out a distress signal. The second part never happened. Fire trailed behind his pod like a comet. The systems failed one by one, then blacked out entirely. When it finally hit the ground, metal crumpled like paper and the world went dark. He woke up with blood in his mouth, stars in his vision, and the crunch of foreign soil beneath him. The pod was gone, half buried and smoking behind him. Miraculously, his suit held, though the comms were fried. Status? He whispered to the AI embedded in his helmet. Biosigns stable. Minor internal bruising. Atmospheric scan, breathable. Gravity, 0.94 Earth standard. He pulled himself to his feet and looked around. Towering trees with glowing leaves surrounded the clearing. Strange calls echoed through the forest. Birds? Insects? He didn't know. What he did know was that he was alone on a planet no human had charted. Until they arrived. Movement. Shadows among the trees. Rhys raised his wrist blade out of instinct. That was when they stepped into the light. Women. Tall. Muscular. Silver and violet skin. Some with tribal markings. All with piercing eyes, and all staring at him as if he were a ghost. The one in front stepped forward, her spear lowered but not drawn. Her voice was calm, but laced with disbelief. You are male. Rhys blinked. Yeah, last I checked. Gasps rippled through the group. Some stepped back. One even whispered, a male? A real one. The leader narrowed her eyes. Name yourself. Commander Rhys Hunter. Terran Expeditionary Forces. I come in peace. He held his hands up, trying to appear non-threatening. The woman's expression shifted, just slightly. You come alone? He nodded. Crash-landed. No way to contact my people. For a moment, no one moved. Then she said a single word to the others. Bind him. They were fast, unbelievably fast. Within seconds, vines and metal cords bound his arms and legs. He didn't resist. Not yet. Where are you taking me? He asked. The leader met his gaze. To the matrons. You are a question, and we need answers. Their city was hidden deep in the forest, built into the cliffs and treetop canopies like a glowing hive. Rhys was dragged through it like an artifact. Everywhere he looked, alien women stared, wide-eyed, fascinated, or afraid. Not a single man. They brought him to a chamber of carved stone and glowing crystals. At the center sat three matrons, elder women draped in ceremonial robes, their eyes sharp with intellect and power. The leader spoke first. He is real, flesh and blood. One matron stood, a male of the old stories. Another added, the last left over 500 cycles ago. We thought they were a myth. Rhys frowned. Wait, you're saying there haven't been any males on this planet for centuries? The eldest matron nodded slowly. Our kind evolved past them, or so we believed. Our species no longer required them to reproduce. But some ancient texts described your kind, strong, reckless, curious, dangerous. Rhys chuckled dryly. Sounds about right. The younger matron stepped forward. You will remain here. Understudy. Rhys stiffened. You're making me a prisoner? No. A guest with guards. Until we understand what your arrival means. Days passed. Rhys wasn't mistreated. He was fed, healed, even allowed to walk the gardens under supervision. But the eyes never left him. The people, especially the younger ones, were fascinated. Some tried to talk to him, asking questions about Earth, men, history, war. Others were more forward. One even asked if he was built like the stories. But there was one who stood apart, Kayla. She was a warrior, the same who had first found him. She visited him every day, offering food, stories, challenges. And slowly, suspicion turned to curiosity, then to something gentler. You speak of war like it is normal, she said one night under the starlit canopy. It was, he said. On Earth, men and women fought side by side. We didn't always get it right, but we fought for each other. She studied him. Strange. Here, strength meant independence. But now, I wonder. They fell into silence. And then the alarm rang. Horn-like sounds echoed across the city. Kayla's head snapped up. Intruders. She turned to him. Stay here. Not a chance. They ran to the outer cliffs. Fire rained from the sky. Drop pods slammed into the earth. Not Galrex. Not human. Something else. Raiders. Machines with AI cores that harvested organics. The Amazuri, Kayla's people, rushed to meet them. But their weapons weren't enough. The machines adapted, evolved. Kayla was nearly struck down when Rhys tackled one of the bots, driving his Terran combat knife through its processor core. Then another. And another. Blood sprayed. Sparks flew. Rhys fought like a demon. The Amazari women watched in awe, not just his strength, but his instinct to protect. He wasn't fighting for conquest. He was fighting for them. Hours later, the city stood, damaged, but alive. The bots were gone. The matrons stood before him again. We saw what you did, one said. You saved Kayla. You fought without orders. You led without command. Rhys wiped the blood from his cheek. I just did what any man should. The eldest matron bowed her head. Then perhaps it is time we remembered what men were. Weeks passed. Rhys became more than a curiosity. He was a teacher, a builder, a symbol. The women who had laughed at the myths now trained beside him. And Kayla? She stood at his side, not as a guard, but as a partner. Their society changed, not because he ruled, but because he reminded them of something they forgot. That strength wasn't just in might. It was in standing with others. Even if you came from the stars, even if they had never seen a man before.